You know, we all do it. You flick a switch and the lights just come on. But what about the places where the lights can't ever go out? Well, behind that is a massive invisible world of engineering and planning. So today, let's pull back the curtain on what it really takes to guarantee power.
When the power goes out at home, it's annoying, for sure. The Wi-Fi's down, you can't charge your phone, but let's just raise the stakes a little. What happens when the place that goes dark isn't your house, but a hospital in the middle of a surgery, or a data center that runs our entire financial system?
Yeah, for these kinds of places, a power outage isn't an inconvenience, it's a full-blown catastrophe. It's a mission failure. This is where the whole concept of uninterruptible power comes in. An entire industry built around one single goal, making sure that when the grid fails, their lights stay on, no matter what.
So, how do you build this invisible shield? Well, it's not something you just plug in when there's an emergency. It starts way, way before that. It starts by building a proper fortress, a power fortress.
And building that fortress has a few key steps. First, you've got to actually get the equipment there. And this stuff is seriously heavy and delicate, so supply and delivery is a huge deal. Then, you have to position it in exactly the right spot. After that, a certified professional has to handle the installation. And then comes the final, and maybe most important step, commissioning.
Now, you might hear commissioning and think it's just, flipping the on switch. But it's so much more than that. This is where a specialist engineer comes in and fine-tunes everything. Every battery, every setting, to the manufacturer's exact specifications. If you skip this, you could void your warranty, and even worse, the whole system might just fail the one time you actually need it.
Okay, so the fortress is built, the system is commissioned, it's all ready to go. Job done, right? We can all pack up and go home? Not even close. In fact, you could argue that the most critical part of the job has only just begun.
And this brings us to the heart of it all. True power protection isn't about being a firefighter, showing up after the alarm bells are ringing. It's about being a doctor. It's the art of prevention, keeping the system healthy so it never gets sick in the first place.
A good way to think about this is like health insurance for your power system. The plans scale up, and sure, they cover more parts and labor. But the real game changer here, the thing that really matters for mission-critical sites, is time. A silver plan gets you help in 12 working hours. Gold gets you 8. But that platinum plan, that's a whole other league.
4 hours. And get this, not 4 working hours, 4 clock hours. That means if something goes wrong at 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning, an expert engineer is dispatched and will be on site within 4 hours guaranteed. For a hospital or a stock exchange, that's not a luxury. That's the difference between a minor hiccup and a complete meltdown.
And what does one of these checkups actually involve? This isn't just someone kicking the tires. It's a full-on, deep-dive physical. They're checking the environment for things like dampness and temperature. They run full mechanical and electrical tests. They check every battery, test every bypass system, run diagnostic software, and make sure everything is up to date. The whole goal is to spot the tiny little anomaly before it can become a system-killing nightmare.
But look, even with the best preventative care in the world, things can still fail. So what happens when that dreaded alarm finally goes off? Well, that's when the whole game changes. The strategy flips instantly from prevention to immediate, decisive reaction. The response team basically has 2 main plays in their playbook. The first one is an on-site repair. An engineer arrives with what's called a crash kit, a prepackaged set of the most common replacement parts, and their goal is to get this system fixed right then and there. The second option, which is great when there's a backup system, is to take the faulty unit back to a workshop. This lets them do a much deeper diagnosis and helps everyone make a smart call. Is it better to repair this thing or just replace it?
And the thing that makes all of this work isn't just the fancy tech or the spare parts. It's the people. It's a whole nationwide network of factory-trained, certified engineers spread all over the country, ready to go 24/7. Having the right part is one thing, but having the right expert on call when you need them, that's everything.
So we've built the system, and we're maintaining it. But the story still isn't over, because this equipment doesn't last forever. Real long-term management means planning for the entire life cycle of the equipment, from upgrades all the way to its eventual retirement.
I mean, you can't just unplug a power system that weighs several tons and haul it away. Decommissioning is a complex, specialist process. You need experts who know how to remove the old equipment without disrupting anything else. They have to follow strict environmental laws for disposal, and what's really interesting is they can often help liquidate the old assets to help offset the cost of the new project.
And this quote right here, it just brings everything full circle. Every single step we've talked about, from delivery and installation to maintenance, repairs, and even decommissioning, it's all in service of this one simple, powerful goal.
So, as we wrap things up, let's pull all these threads together to really understand what this is all about. It's about seeing the big picture, the unending cycle.
And here's the real key takeaway from all of this. An uninterruptible power supply isn't just a box you buy off a shelf. True power protection is a dynamic, unending process. It's a managed service that involves logistics, expert installation, proactive maintenance, reactive repairs, and strategic planning. It is a process, not a product.
And that leaves us with one final thought. It's really easy to think of these critical systems as just a big, powerful battery that keeps everything running. But the real question, the one that truly defines reliability, is this: who is protecting the battery? And the answer is that entire unseen ecosystem of people, plans, and processes we've just explored.